What up everyone, it's your man XManny87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is the Marvel Legends Spider-Man the Animated Series, Doctor Strange vs. Morbius 2-pack review. Before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's go! Kicking the review off with Doctor Strange, and a few things I want to point out from his last release. So this one has a new cape, he has a new sash. This one is pinless, this one is not pinless. This one should have been pinless when it was first released, and that's about it. This one has the skirt piece here, this one doesn't. And if you were hoping that this Strange would get the job done because you missed out on the Walmart exclusive one, don't get your hopes up, because honestly, in my opinion, both these Doctor Strange figures suck. They didn't get the job done. I mean, this one had the leopard print deco here, which did not continue on the hands. It should have been on the hands, and that sucked. Both capes are absolutely horrendous. Like, plastic capes suck. They need to do fabric wired capes. I mean, you got McFarlane toys now. McFarlane, of all people, doing fabric wired capes now. And this is a dude that, you know, he's always stuck in his old ways, and he's doing advancements that people want to see with modern day action figures. And there's no excuse for Hasbro not to do fabric wired capes. So don't let your competition outdo you and do fabric wired capes. You know, you got to deliver. You got to deliver, because these capes do absolutely nothing. Plastic capes absolutely sucks. As a photographer, it's just not going to get the job done for me. I mean, it's the Cloak of Levitation. The Cloak of Levitation is its own character, you know, so it should have a fabric wired cape to be posable and get all those dynamic poses you want out of a Doctor Strange. This cape is even worse too, because you cannot articulate the arms at all. Like, this is the most you're gonna get. He's not gonna be able to move his arms up. At least this one, you could freely move them around, and the capes are glued where the Eye of Agamotto is, so it's just not... this was poorly executed, man. Also, it is not animated series accurate at all. The head sculpt is completely wrong. At least if you're going to do an animated version, get the head sculpt right, man. It's just wrong. It's basically the same as this. Yeah, just repainted to match the white stripe pattern that the cartoon had. The cartoon had two bangs coming down at the front of his hair. You know, this one, again, it's the same as this. Straight up repaint. And again, the cape is different, so it's just, man, this is bad. But taking a closer look at the figure, at the paint job too, they just phoned it in completely with this figure. Same old head. The white paint is very splotchy. It's messy. You get some like chunky paint there. Also, I don't know if you're a fan of the purple. The animated series was a little purpley in the color, so you're not going to get the classic blue color. As you can see, the torsos are the same pattern, just repainted. No leopard pattern, but that's fine, because in the cartoon it was just plain yellow. And that is about it. The new sash right there. Also, they could have at least painted the pattern here on the cape, because in the cartoon it was black. So yeah, they painted a little bit of the Eye of Agamotto there, but it is so sloppy. Like, it is... this sucks. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It sucks, you know? A good thing he's pinless, but I'm not using that as its saving grace. Pinless or not pinless, it was not going to save this terrible figure at all. And that's about it. For accessories, it's the same old shit. You got his mystical hand gestures and the hex bolts in a translucent blue color. For articulation, Doctor Strange's head moves about that far up, and it moves about that far down, left, right, and his arms are going to move about outward and up about that far. You're not going to get much. Again, up. Like, what am I going to do with this shit? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. The plastic is so hard. It's not even like a soft plastic. It's extremely freaking hard, man. Like, that's... I can't do shit with this at all, man. Elbow swivel, single jointed elbow combo, wrist swivel, wrist hinge. The ab crunch, for some reason, is worse on this figure than his last one. That's man, absolute garbage here. Moves back that far, but it springs back. You see that? Like, you're not gonna do shit with this figure. Waist swivel there. You got his legs that spread out that far. He kicks fairly high. Kicks that far back. That's the one thing that's good about these Sunfire legs. As you can see, if you want him doing a floating pose, you can get him into that kind of pose where he's levitating. So that's one of the best things about this figure. Man, he just needs a fabric wired cape, man. But yeah, as you can see, the leg motion there, the thigh swivel, the double jointed knees, great range there, boot swivel, ankles up, down, and they rock all around. They couldn't half-ass it more than this, stripping him down of all the cool accessories from his previous release and just rehashing old ones. Not giving him a cartoon-accurate head sculpt doesn't qualify this as an animated series adaptation. They did nothing to make a better cape. Only good thing about this is that it's pinless. I'm rating this Doctor Strange a 2 out of 10. Now taking a look at Michael Morbius, and I gotta say, this is the Morbius I've always wanted in Marvel Legends. My favorite look of Morbius is the Spider-Man 90s animated series. And I gotta say that, man, look, I understand that not every time animation is gonna translate well into figure form. Sometimes it's hit, sometimes it's miss. And here, it's a big miss, man. I don't know what it is. Something is really, really off, and I just think they didn't try hard enough, man. It's completely inaccurate. I mean, the eyebrows are so flat. He's supposed to have like these sharp hooks at the end points of the eyebrows, and the nose is a little too close to the upper lip. I feel like the upper lip should have been a little more elongated. In the cartoon, sometimes it was closer. It all depends on the angles. But I think it would have looked better if the upper lip was elongated. I mean, the eyes, he's got the red eyes, the black pupils. Man, he's supposed to have a little more gray highlights around the eyes. Pop those facial features out. I mean, in the last comic Morbius that's what they did. They highlighted those facial features to match the rest of his skin tone. Here, it does not match. Holy crap, like, it's so white on the face and on the hands, but then when it comes to the rest of the skin tone, like, it's just faded and washed out. It needed another coat of white. Even on his neck, if I popped his head off, it's faded. It's just white painted over the blue, and yeah, it's not it here. The teeth are white. It's supposed to be yellow. The hair, they did this kind of wash on it because, they can't nail the cell shading right. He's supposed to have like these lighter blue streaks on the front, but this is the best they're gonna do. If they did that, that would have been at least so much better. It would have highlighted the hair much more, but I mean, the wash is not bad. I just think it needed that little extra pop. The ears are right. I think the face is too wide. I think that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is the face is too wide. It's not narrow. I remember it being a little more narrow in the cartoon, but it's just not it. It didn't nail it right. It's like sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. The promo images were better, honestly. They looked better, but overall, it could have been better. It should have been better. So, yeah, overall, I am not pleased with the head sculpt. The rest of the body does consist of new parts, which is nice. I like that we get a new torso here. You get some wrinkles right there. This belt piece is from Daredevil, just painted. You got a metallic gold buckle right there. And the legs are new. I like that they put the effort in sculpting new legs, especially since he has boots. And they do stick out, as you can see. I like that a lot. The jacket, I believe this is X-Men 97 Gambit jacket. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't own that figure. I never got that figure. But one thing I will say that I'm happy about, because I feared the Blade Havoc arms. They're always sticking outwards and never you know, meet the side of his hips all the way down. They do move all the way down, which is nice. They fixed that. I like that. That looks good. Yeah, I think the jacket is Gambit again. If I'm wrong, you know, please correct me. But what I do like is about this jacket, right? If you do put them in a flight pose, the cool thing is, if you pull it upwards, you can get some dynamic poses out of it, which is nice. I like that, you know? Well, that didn't work. That's not a good example. I should pull that up a little bit more. But it would stay like that if you want a nice dynamic pose. Now it's falling over. Before it was holding still when I was taking pictures, but yeah, I mean, I think the figure overall, like, I like the body. I like the body. If they nailed the head, man, this would have been one of their best animated figures if they just nailed the head right. And I do like the inside of the jacket. It's purple and just giving you a closer look at the torso and at the legs. They even sculpted the zip line right there at the crotch. You get some wrinkles right there around the knees. So here's the back of the legs. They did a good job on this. And the boots, I like the glossy finish here. It's nice, it makes it pop. Now for accessories, just as I called it when they released More Lun, they were going to reuse these hands for an animated series, Morbius, because this is exactly how it was in the cartoon, because they had to tone him down. He couldn't bite the neck and suck the blood out of the victims. Blood was called plasma, so he would have these small little protrusions on his hands that resemble like these small mouths and leave like these diseased splotches all over his victims. And while in the cartoon it's a little more roundish, these were reused from More Lun. They have a little more triangular diamond shape to them, so that doesn't bother me. It's fine. They had to reuse those hands. I am bummed out they didn't paint the claws. His nails were supposed to be painted, and they did not paint them. It's supposed to be in like a bluish, blackish color. So, man, lack of details here. But the paint on these little small protrusions came out nice. Felicia, I hunger for plasma. Felicia ain't giving you any plasma, bro, with this ugly ass face. Holy crap, man. Face could have been so much better, man. And that's it for accessories. Lacking accessories. This guy could have used an extra head, at least with a closed mouth, to give us an extra option. This could have been better, and so much more. Now for articulation, I'm a lot happier with this guy in terms of articulation than his comic version, because, I mean, come on, this is fucking Bucky Cap. This figure's way better than this one. Just because, again, fucking Bucky Cap. His head moves about that far up, so he'll be able to look up, down, left, or right. He does have some pivoting. The arms move outward and up, so you get a straight T-pose there, down and around. He's got the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and he's got the wrist swivel, wrist hinge. The ab crunch moves about that far forward, so he gets good crunch. Not so much back though, because the jacket just restricts that movement. So that's going to be the bummer right there. If you want to get them into some good flight poses, something like that. But as you can see, this jacket restricts the movement. Oh, now it's staying up. So as you can see, that's what I was trying to show you before, that it stays in place. But yeah, restriction for the back movement does kind of suck. He's got a waist swivel, legs move about that far out. He does kick up fairly high and fairly back, so he could get a frontward split almost. Legs rock around. You got the thigh swivel, double jointed pinless knees, and no heel to the plasma butt. And you got his boot swivel, got the ankles that move up, down, and they pivot around. I'm let down by the head sculpt as it came out looking off from the cartoon. The rest of the figure came out fine with some newly sculpted parts. Yeah, this is the best Morbius in the Legends line, which wasn't a high bar to set anyway, since the others weren't any good. It is the one I'd prefer on my shelf. I'm giving Morbius a 6 out of 10. To kick off comparisons, here's the animated series Doctor Strange next to the classic comic Doctor Strange. If they weren't going to give us the cartoon accurate head for this new Strange, then I would have preferred his astral form as he appeared in the series. That way we can have an astral form Strange in his classic look. Therefore, I can at least have a complimentary match for my current Strange on display and not throw this figure in the bin. Here is Doctor Strange next to Dormammu, since he did appear in the cartoon, although he had a different look. Here is the animated series Morbius next to his classic comic version and the comic Midnight Suns version. This new animated series version is now my favorite Legends of Morbius. I really like the Morbius character, and I would love to see a deluxe Morbius Unbound for this cartoon series, as I have a huge nostalgic attachment to that vintage Toy Biz figure when I was a kid. But let me know which one out of these is your favorite Morbius Marvel Legends figure. Here is Morbius next to Felicia, the black cat. And lastly, here is Doctor Strange and Morbius next to Spider-Man. And now to wrap things up, my final rating is a 4 out of 10. For a $50 set, there is no value here that justifies the price. They phoned it in on Strange with the typical Hasbro cutting corner strategy they love pulling. No cartoon accurate head, no posability on the upper part of the body due to that terrible plastic cape. I don't think I can tolerate these plastic capes anymore. This is by far their worst cape. All Morbius needed was a better head sculpt, because the rest of the figure is fine, as I like the bodywork to it. They missed the mark big time on the head sculpt and some other details, which makes the figure mid, and why I gave it a mid score. I'm not recommending this at full price. Save your money for a post clearance deal if you are interested. Where are the accessories for $50? They could have given Strange some cool artifacts as accessories from the show instead of taking away all the cool ones from the first release, or the last release, I should say. Morbius needed an extra head, but they could have given him a tape recorder with a gripping hand so he can hold it, as he was always seen recording his audio logs, but they just don't think these things through. If they made these 2-packs made sense, I would have rather taken an animated series Wong with an astral form Strange. Wouldn't say no to a Wong figure. I would have taken an animated series Blade with Morbius. Hell, I would have even taken a civilian Felicia Hardy with Morbius. That's a better deal than just tossing this Strange to the plastic prison bin. Anyways, Strange is useless to me, and Morbius will now replace my classic comic Morbius on my main Spider-Man shelf. And as much as I love my comics, I'm excited to see my shelf turning more animated series inspired. It's definitely pumping that nostalgia fix into my veins. But I also don't let nostalgia blind me, and I had to call this figure down the middle, so hopefully you found my critiques on this Morbius to be a fair assessment. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of this Strange vs. Morbius 2-pack? Are you excited about this Morbius by any chance, or it didn't do for you? Who would you have selected for this 2-pack offering? Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. Thanks for watching another Marvel Legends review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xman87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next review. Peace, peace.